Hello and welcome to Fraggle Talk Classic, the unofficial Fraggle Rock podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. My name is Beth, and I am rewatching for the millionth time.
My name is Julia, and I'm rewatching for the first time in 10 years.
My name is Adam, and we're recording a second episode in a second day, so if you want an original joke, I got nothing for you.
Aww. And we have a special return guest with us today.
We do.
Hi, it's me, Becca Petunia from toughpigs.com.
Yay, welcome back.
Hi, Becca. Hi.
Welcome back. We're so happy to have you.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be here. Again, Fraggle Rock is my favorite. I'm so glad to be here talking about Fraggle Rock with one of my favorite podcasts.
Aww.
Yay.
Okay, I do want to start with two quick things, though. First of all, I'm going to apologize here on air in an effort to shame myself. I never got you guys your Hubble prizes, which were Cantus, a picture of Cantus, a picture of the hairy-chested batworm, and...
I'm pretty sure I picked the storyteller.
The storyteller. It was going to say it was the storyteller. So I've been really, things got way out of hand for me in the year because I moved. So I just completely lost track of time. But I'm calling myself out here on air. Everybody listening, you can remind me that I have to draw those three characters for the three hosts of Fraggle Talk. And the second thing that I wanted to say is I just want you to know I'm only on this podcast for one reason, and it's so that I can be the leader now. So everybody, hold on.
Oh, we've got new rules coming in.
Okay. What are the new rules? Becca?
Rule number one is a ton of fun because it tells you who gets to say, we're here today to talk about Season 2, Episode 13, Red's Club.
I thought rule number one was that you only say hi to the people that you don't know, and to the people you've already met, you say hi-ho.
No, rule number one is that there is no, don't talk about, there's no...
The first rule of Becca's Helping Club is that we do not talk about Becca's Helping Club.
So, Beth, as long as you're part of Becca's Helping Club here, one of the things I forgot from your intro, besides saying Season 2, Episode 13, Red's Club, Beth, do you know who wrote and directed this episode or when it aired?
I do.
Wow,
in fact.
Becca, that's a great idea. Beth, you should totally follow Becca's great idea and tell us that information.
What a great idea Becca had. This episode originally aired on March 26, 1984, written by Jocelyn Stevenson, directed by Eric Till, and now that I say that, listeners, this actually was Becca's idea. When we first started doing this podcast, we didn't give that information, and then Becca was the one who was like, hey, what if you gave this information at the start of each episode? And I was like, oh, yeah, that's actually a really great idea.
Wow.
So,
that's true.
unironically...
I remember telling you that. I was like, boy, it feels like maybe it would be better to segue from the episode title if you, said that. And sometimes you notice cool things, like, hey, Jocelyn Stevenson did this one. Did not realize that.
Inception noise. Well, because the joke and then in the reality and because when he's dreaming and the top. Anyways, the point I want to make is that Sprocket has a dog license.
I mean, a lot of states require you...
Does this mean that there are unlicensed dogs? Dogs out there dogging without a license?
Presumably.
Mavericks.
I mean, dogs are supposed to have a license, right?
I think so.
Julia, can you take this one?
I don't
License
actually...
to dog.
know if I have the answer, only because I haven't owned a dog since I was a kid. I don't need a license in order to walk all of the dogs that I do.
Well, you also don't need a dog license because you're not a dog.
That is true. I personally do not need one for myself. I do feel like don't you need to register your dog or something? I mean, I am not
Something
entirely
like that.
certain, but that sounds right.
With what? The Selective Service?
No, the NGA, the National Dog Association.
I don't know, and I'm actually...
Wait, Adam, you want to take that again? What is the National Dog Association?
NGA. Oh, that's at the...
No, it's still the National Dog Association. It's just for the G at the end of dog.
The National Dog Association.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I heard you correctly.
No, you did. I grabbed the G. I was trying to make fun of the NRA, and NDA would have been perfect, but dog ends with a G, and that's where I got it.
So rule number 2 is that dog starts with D.
Ah, man. Does this mean I can't be in the club?
Okay, I did Google it. Dogs do need to be registered and licensed, which is mostly to verify that they've had all of their vaccinations and they are up to code on all of that. And apparently there can be citations and fines if you do not register your dog. I guess maybe it depends on state to state. I don't think they can just take the dog away from you, but you do need to like tag and make sure your dog is vaccinated. And that is basically what, I don't know if that is what this license for Sprocket is for. It could very well be more of a jokey thing, although they don't really get into it, so maybe not. But in reality, you do need to have a license, I guess, for your dog.
Yeah, if you don't have a license and they find it, they'll put a boot on your dog so you can't take your dog anywhere until you get a license.
Oh, have you seen dogs in little booties trying to walk around? They just like legs sticking out. It's
that kind of boot.
Great content.
My favorite one is it's the Chihuahua with that, and it's to Staying Alive, and it's the, you can't tell by the way I walk my walk, I'm a woman's man. And the Chihuahua's just like, flail. It's so good. Anyways.
So in this opening scene, Sprocket's, again, as long as I'm the leader, I'm gonna take this.
Please do.
All hail Leader Becca.
In this opening scene, we bring up Sprocket's license because Sprocket receives word that he's not allowed in the top dog club.
Boo!
And that's because he doesn't have a pedigree, which was interesting to me because I feel like, have we talked? Again, I took over and it's like I ran this the whole time. Have you guys talked at all about like what type of dog, what breed of dog Sprocket is? Because I guess it makes sense that he doesn't have a pedigree because he's just kind of Sprocket.
Tell you what kind of dog he is. A good one.
He is such a good dog.
Good dog.
But yeah, I highly doubt that he's any kind of purebred.
Yeah. He's some kind of a mix. I would guess a shepherd mix. He's got the long fluffy hair.
Yeah, like an English sheepdog.
I feel like he's like a dog-human hand hybrid.
Shh.
Sorry, spoilers, I guess.
Spoilers for season 4, episode 22. Sprocket is a puppet.
Oh goodness.
The bit I want to touch on is just like Sprocket's really bummed that he's not in this club, which like, yeah, rejection sucks.
Yeah.
And Doc gets like one tiny grain of credit where he's like, oh, well, like, no, like that, your feelings aren't silly. He like validates Sprocket's feelings for a split second. And then he's like, but it's not the end of the world.
Right.
And it's like, Doc, be nice to your dog challenge 2024, difficulty level impossible.
Okay, 2 points. I kind of thought that it came across as mean, but like Doc has a pretty good perspective on this when he's like, it's not silly, but it's not the end of the world. Because like, I think that is a good way of like thinking about things and conceptualizing it. Like, yeah, this is something to be upset about, but it's not the worst thing. But that's not what Sprocket needed to hear right now. And then the second thing is, I think that this is a level of dog ownership. Like, we can fault Doc for like forgetting to feed his dog, but like not knowing how to comfort your dog when he doesn't get into the club he wants is a little. Admittedly, they don't teach you that. Like, that's not something that you can just look up in like being a dog owner for dummies.
Yeah, they didn't have dog TikTok back then, did they?
Yeah, dog talk.
Dog talk.
I don't know. Julia, had you been born yet?
No, I had not been born yet.
Okay,
No.
They didn't have Julia either.
No.
Yeah, no. This is before Julia and my time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just there's a sweet little moment where like he tries to reassure Sprocket, and Sprocket licks Doc's face, and I don't know if we've seen that before.
Yeah, I don't think we have either.
I noticed that too. It was really sweet. And I mean, to Doc's credit, Doc is also the one, I mean, it goes awry so quickly in this episode, but he is the one that's like, hey, you start your own club, which, he does the steps of consoling and then trying to be like, but it's not the end of the world. But when it's still very clearly important to Sprocket, he's like, okay, well, screw them, we'll do our own club. And that's it's a very caring move. And I think I wrote I like this version of Doc where he's trying to be considerate, but he's also trying different ways to help out his friend, because Sprocket's his dog, but also their relationship at this point is very much, as we've said, roommate friend based, not realistic dog owner friendship wise. And yeah, then Sprocket gives him a kiss because he's so excited about this idea of them putting a club together, and we will see later how that goes very bad very quickly. But in this moment, it's a very nice gesture on Doc's part.
Yeah.
So then we get to the Fraggles, and there's a song. And I noticed something about this song, and I want to demonstrate this to y'all. If you will give me just a second, I think sharing screen on Zoom will work, and I can demonstrate. It's not long. I just want to show you a thing real quick.
Great.
Could everybody hear that?
Nope.
No.
Gosh, planet. Heckin' snarf. Well, the point I was trying to make is that the song that they're singing is just "I Want Candy."
Well, it is actually the exact same clapping rhythm that's used in the pantry chant in the episode where Boober loses his hat.
It's the same clapping rhythm, but it's the same like rhythmic rhythm, like dun 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 dun. And the clip that I had is I sampled this song and then I just sang "I Want Candy" over it, and it fits perfectly. And you know what? Actually, Beth, I can just send you this clip, and you can just put it in for the listeners, and they'll hear it.
Perfect.
I want candy. I want candy.
I can hop as high as you.
So yeah, Red is basically singing her own version of "Anything You Can Do, I Can Do Better."
Mm-hmm. And then wondering why nobody wants to hang out with her.
Well, so first of all, I really like this song. I think it's very catchy because it is using some of the things that makes the song "I Want Candy" very catchy, as Adam pointed out, and that song is very catchy. But there is this weird thing, and like the rules about Fraggles and songs are so confusingly specific, that like it does feel like when Red brings this up, the Fraggles are compelled to play her game because like Boober is like, "Oh no," and then still has to participate in her dumb game. I'm sorry, her cool game.
I think the way that songs work for Fraggles is it's so bone deep that Boober knows that if he was like, no, I'm not playing, it wouldn't just ruin the game, it would ruin the song. And that is just unforgivable.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Again, like there is something ingrained in it. It's also interesting that like when Red says that she can laugh harder than Gobo, she definitely like Gobo starts like coughing, like he can't laugh that hard. But some of the other ones, it just feels like Red calls it as soon as she's done it the right way. Like, how do we know that they couldn't jump higher than Red? She just eventually is like, "I'm the one that won."
Pretty sure Moki could sing higher than Red if she were allowed to keep going.
Exactly.
It's so at the end, Red is like, "Oh, that's great, let's do it again." And everybody's really tired, and they're like, "Hey, let's go paint a song." And Red has one of my most frustrating Red moments where she's like, "Why doesn't anybody ever do what I want to do?" And it's like, Red, they just did the game you wanted 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, like, that is very Red. That's very in character for Red. Again, it's frustrating in the way that Red is frustrating.
Oh, yeah. I should clarify. I'm not saying that it's frustrating because I'm like, "Oh, this is badly written." This is just, it's frustrating like, "Oh, this particular character flaw drives me up a wall."
And that's what this whole episode is about, really, this character flaw.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the idea of, like, what happens if one of the members of a group suddenly decides that they're in charge. So anyway, what happens is... Jokes aside, I did like the line where they're bringing up that they want to do this sort of painting activity, and Moki is like, "Yeah, I could use a little therapy." And I was like,
Yes.
Me too, Moki.
Heck yeah.
Me too, Moki.
We could all use a little therapy.
We could all use a little change. Anyways. So then we cut to Cotterpin and the Architect.
Well, so
And
first...
let me tell you...
So first, Red is, voicing this, "Why is it no one ever does what I want to do?" And for several lines, she is clueless that these unnamed lackeys are gathering around her like, "We'll do what you want to do, Red. We'll follow you."
Oh, yeah. She gets sycophants.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are very annoying, and I don't like them. And like, I don't like using these words for a variety of reasons, but like, they're clearly just, the only way to describe them is just like, they're stupid. And like, that's clearly what was, what they were going for.
Yeah.
I don't love using that word, but like, they're just...
Well, you're not using it as a pejorative. You're using it to describe the intention of the writer, which is, in this case, honestly a critique.
Right.
Yeah, again, I think there is a way of doing Fraggles that want to do what Red is doing without necessarily writing them like so like brainless as these guys.
Yeah, they're really just like mindlessly out of the blue just like, oh, we love Red. We're going to start doing whatever she says and like take anything that she says at all to heart.
Mm-hmm.
And there isn't a catalyst. It's not like they weren't in the previous scene watching her do were they in the previous scene watching her do the game? I don't think so. If they were,
I don't know.
They would have been in the background and there wouldn't have been any attention given to them, because that could have been...
There was certainly no attention given.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on if they were there, and I haven't,
Because I think there were some background Fraggles in that scene.
Oh, there were background Fraggles.
So it would have maybe been different if we had like gotten a shot of them being like, oh my gosh, Red is so cool. We wish we were more like this Fraggle who keeps winning all these games, not pointing out that she's maybe unfairly winning some of these games. That would have maybe laid the groundwork a little bit better, but instead it's just, she's like, oh, I wish I could be the leader, and suddenly she is wish granted the leader, and there's not much more to it. There's no explanation for why they suddenly want to just follow her and think she's super cool.
Kind of feels like they could have just jumped to Cotterpin sooner. Spoilers for 2 minutes from now.
Mhm.
Right.
And just had us spend more time with Red and Cotterpin, because when we were spending time with Red and Cotterpin, this episode is wonderful when those two are together, and we'll get to that in a second.
Right. There is one moment where Red is banging her head against a rock and going, why is it always Gobo, Gobo, Gobo? I was like, oh, this is her Marsha, Marsha, Marsha moment.
You know what else is interesting is these sycophantic Fraggles. I feel like I would have preferred maybe to just jump to the Cotterpin plot sooner, but also they could have easily just threaded this needle by using Wembley.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. Someone who would willingly follow her, but is not just stupid.
But is willingly following her, just because that's what to do, not necessarily because he agrees with her, but because that's what we're doing now.
Right.
I mean, I feel like the point is a little bit stronger if you have people who genuinely look up to and adore her, and also have more of them, because you get to see her one by one exclude them.
Oh, that's
for
right.
breaking really silly, unreasonable rules.
Yeah.
And the fact that she keeps doing it really hammers home the point of you can't love someone and control someone at the same time, to quote the great Terry Crews. And it's fascinating, actually, because, and I have this a little bit later in my notes, but I'll jump to it now. It's a really good way to talk about, to demonstrate that trying to control people is a great way to drive them away or lose them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fascinating because this is on both sides. Because if you look at the way Red is trying to talk about making a club to everybody, when she comes back and is talking about making a club, they don't really let her talk.
Yep.
And that's really frustrating to her. But then she doesn't give her members any control, and so she winds up kicking them out.
Or they leave.
It's repeating that same dynamic over and over again.
Yep.
Yeah, so you know what, Adam?
Yeah?
Rule number 3, you're right on this one.
Oh, yeah, that's a great rule. I love this rule.
I think maybe the Fraggles could have been a little more likable, but I get what they were going for, and I think Adam is making a great point here.
Yay!
That's rule number 3. It's not the most punchy rule, but that's rule number 3.
It's a great rule. I love this rule.
So then we get the architect warning Cotterpin, if you climb up there, you'll get stuck. And she's like, I know what I'm doing.
I love that specifically she says, I need to see this tower from a different angle.
Yeah.
And he's like, haven't you heard of forklifts? And she's like, those won't go high enough.
Adam, how happy were you to see Cotterpin back?
I made so many sounds.
Because this is Cotterpin's second episode, correct?
Third.
Sort of. She had a minor role in the previous episode, the Doozer contest.
Oh, right.
Where her dad is being a jerk.
But this is her next major role episode.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the one where Cotterpin throws hands.
Yes.
I mean, she kind of gets hands thrown.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Little bit of both.
We don't see the other guy. We don't know if she gave as good as she got.
I bet she did.
Oh, come on. I know Cotterpin.
She's so tenacious.
Yeah,
I know Cotterpin.
she's tenacious, but she doesn't seem all that coordinated.
I mean, she climbs up that rock. She does get stuck because she is not...
Yet the rock is not actively trying to punch her in the face.
Well, listen, I think, Adam, we have to settle this in a Doozer contest.
Okay, towers at 20 paces?
Yeah.
Great.
Perfect. I need to see this.
I think I have Legos in that drawer over there.
I was just going to use the PC I built.
Oh.
The desktop PC. because people call them towers.
Okay.
Okay, like 3 people in our listeners heard that and went, huh. And those 3 of you, I appreciate you. Drink some
Anyway, I was really glad to see Cotterpin back because
Me too.
Cotterpin has quickly become a favorite of mine. And I say quickly become because I don't remember loving her so much when I watched this the first time.
Yeah, same. As a kid, she didn't stick out to me as a beloved character.
And now, I recently just finished a Fraggle Rock rewatch, and I genuinely think Cotterpin is like possibly in my top 3 favorite characters, period, on the show.
She's really good.
She's so funny because she is so mean, and I love that. But like mean and mean is not the word that I want to use. There's a different
direct. She's really straightforward and doesn't really curtail anything that she wants to say.
Yeah, she doesn't take any nonsense from anyone. I'm trying to avoid using some words that I want to use to describe her.
Brusque.
Words that perhaps get thrown at women in the workplace who speak their mind and don't put up with nonsense.
But as a woman in the workplace, I'm using these words with love,
Right.
but I understand that I'm not going to say them on the podcast.
Fair.
And that's where I'm coming at this. But yeah, I think that it's so much fun because I think compared to the other characters, not that the other characters are like nice all the time or anything like that. Like obviously Red, will make fun of Gobo and Gobo will make fun of Red. But Cotterpin is just such a breath of fresh air in a lot of ways compared to the other characters. She feels very real in a lot of ways that I really like, and it's just really, really funny. And like this episode is no exception. She has so many great lines and great barbs that she's going to throw at Red, who is about to come help her as she gets stuck in a rock.
Well, so first we cut back to the Fraggles finishing their paintings, which are fascinating.
Gobos is a big mouth with 4 sharp teeth and very angry eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of white space. And I was just like, what does this say about Gobo?
And this is their therapy.
They're playing Paint the Song.
Right,
What
so I'm like,
song
what
is he
songs are they
painting?
all painting?
But then Moki's is so beautiful and colorful and like very abstract. They're so different.
Right, that's like, are they painting the same song and seeing and feeling different things? Or are they painting different songs?
I do not know.
It is unclear.
Yeah, because they don't actually acknowledge the paintings at all. Gobo's just like, well, I'm done. Let's read the postcard. And Red decides, okay, that's the first rule. No more listening to postcards from Uncle Matt. And that's how she loses her first member.
Mm-hmm.
Very on brand for Red, that would be her first decree.
Yeah.
Then we get the postcard, which it's Uncle Matt basically going into a high school, which he describes as a big cave. And then when all of the students are in their classrooms, like he like talks about it being like a series of like tunnels that are empty. And does anything else happen in this postcard?
No, it's just sort of a note on like control and controlling large groups of people. This one also feels like a really loose connection.
Because he feels like what you're leaving out, Julia, is that the cave is a ringing cave, he says.
Yeah.
Because there are bells, and he's like, when the bell rings, the silly creatures all walk like in one direction.
That's right.
And then when the bell rings again, the silly creatures are gone. And Traveling Matt has clearly found the perfect school because he's like, and after the bell rang, nobody was in the hallway.
I wish.
And the cave was quiet. And I'm like,
Never happens.
what?
Maybe this is a phenomenon with Canadian children? I don't know.
Listen, I know Canadians. I find that hard to believe. They're not that different than we are. They just spell words weird and like, I don't know, they don't have the same like, they don't have Target up there in Canada, or they do, but very, very sparsely. So like, that's really the only difference.
I've definitely been into a Target in Canada.
Yeah, but they have fewer of them.
That's fair.
You definitely have, and that's fine, but there's fewer Targets in Canada.
Sure, I would believe that.
Must be way harder to aim then.
Oh,
jeez.
Anyways, I was very excited. I love that we're getting a little bit more Cotterpin. And specifically, I love that we're getting more Cotterpin Red dynamic. And I really appreciate the way that they use the interspecies interactions to demonstrate both sides of this power dynamic, which we will get to later.
Yes, that really caught me in this watch. And again, I just watched this recently before today because, like I said, I was doing a whole rewatch of the whole show. And yeah, Adam, I really want to talk about that when we get there, because there's some interesting parallels and use of the puppet sizes to sort of tell a clear story. So I'm so glad that I mean, of course you noticed that as well, because you three are all very astute.
Aw.
Hey, you take that back. I shower as often as I can.
So Red invites her friends to join her new club, and they immediately start trampling on it and say, great idea, let's start a club, and they kind of talk over her.
Well, let me be clear, because this is one of my other favorite lines. Moki refers to it not as a great idea, but a cohesive idea.
Yeah.
Also on brand for Moki.
I love that.
There's a little bit of shade.
Moki's like,
Just a
yeah,
little.
this idea actually, wow, that is a beginning, middle, and an end.
Yeah, they all start kind of pitching ideas for a club, which eventually becomes a helping club. But Boober does want a club where the purpose is to eradicate germs, which also everyone's just being so on brand in this episode. Peak versions of themselves.
Very good character work.
But yeah, no one's really listening to Red, and it kind of just spirals into their own thing where they all unanimously, including Red by accident, vote to make Gobo the high helper of this club. And that is like a gut punch to Red, because we know how competitive those two are.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not happy.
No, and we already got the Gobo line, and this really drives it home of like, yes, it is always about Gobo in this circumstance, in putting somebody in not a place of power, but like a leadership spot. It is usually given to him in most circumstances we've seen.
Yeah. I love Boober's line, a helping club would be perfect for those of us in constant need.
Same, buddy. Constant need of pancakes.
Get that mutual aid, y'all.
It is also worth noting, because I actually, since I knew that I was going to come on and I was going to be the leader, I thought it was important that I kept track of all of the rule number ones presented in this episode, because I believe there are 4 rule number ones.
I did not catch that.
The first rule number 1 of Red's club is no listening to postcards from Traveling Matt. Then the first rule number 1 of Gobo's club is the first rule of the club is to help each other. And then Red has another rule number 1, which is Gobo can't help. So technically we are on 2 or 3 rule number 1s, depending on how you count it. But they're always very clear that this is the first rule whenever they start talking.
Incredible. I'm so glad you noticed that.
So she bails and winds up alienating her other follower and is like, well, now it's just me. I need to find more members. I need to find more members than Gobo. So many members. At least a few. Maybe even just one. And then what should happen but a cotter pin up on a rock?
Not yet.
Not yet?
There was a really weird moment between Red and Gobo where after she's lost her final club member, he kind of tries to be like, oh, do you want to join our club? And he like touches her chin really weirdly and then covers his mouth and starts laughing, which later we see Gobo be a little bit more empathetic towards Red, but this moment feels so cruel.
Yeah, right now he's just teasing her.
Yeah, and I didn't like that at all. It felt so condescending. Fraggle Rock doesn't really get into gender a lot, or at all, really. Like, it's kind of taken out of it almost in a lot of circumstances, but this one it did.
And that's a good thing.
It is a very good thing, and it's something I appreciate. And I feel like this is the closest we've really seen where they're like, oh, we've got to choose a helper, or we got to choose somebody to be in command, and you've got a woman, someone who is not a man, like, being like, I want to be in control, and then they immediately give it to the guy. And I don't think that is necessarily the intention of this episode, but that was something I did think about. And Red is also a character I find very frustrating, so I don't know how much I necessarily want to read into it, because she is very stubborn, but...
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it is interesting that is absolutely how it plays out. But also, I think I can't say necessarily what the writers were thinking, but like, it absolutely just is like, Red and Gobo are very competitive, and Gobo is absolutely the one who is leader Fraggle.
Yeah.
And it feels like the logical story to do, but I think Julia absolutely has a good point there about like how this stuff all fits together and like how it relates to our real world. And Gobo absolutely seems a little patronizing at this point, like Julia is touching on. And I think that is kind of frustrating, but I think also at this point, Gobo doesn't fully understand how important what just happened is to Red.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why he's a little more patronizing now as opposed to later in the episode, when I do think he actually comes through and is very genuine with Red later on once he realizes exactly what's going on.
That's a good point. Like having the juxtaposition of like, here's Gobo when he thinks they're just like competing and he's like, oh, this is one of our games. And so I'm having a little too much fun with it, as opposed to later when he's like, oh, this is actually important. And so I'm going to maybe be less of early season 1 Gobo jerk than I was being in this episode.
Growth.
I'd like to think that's what they're trying for. It doesn't change the fact that it is kind of weird that he touches her chin.
It's really weird.
Yeah, like, no, I'm not saying you're wrong here.
Anyway.
Rule number 4, you're right about it being weird.
Good. Excellent.
Wait, Becca, are you saying that I'm not the only person who has a rule about being right about something?
Rule number 5, I'm right about everything else.
Oh, well, I knew that already. I mean, of course you are. Thank you so much for telling us, Grand High podcast leader.
Yeah.
So I do want to touch on this scene with Doc and Sprocket. So they're starting to make a list of potential members, but all Doc is doing is eliminating members.
Mm-hmm.
And he rattles off, first he's eliminating Binky, and then Fred, Ginger, Angel, Mortimer, Muggsy, Rolf. And I love that they threw that in there.
I missed Rolf. Aw.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
The subtitles on Apple TV say Ralph,
They do.
like spelled like Ralph Wiggums, but like it's definitely supposed to be Rolf.
Oh, absolutely.
And to be fair, no one says Rolf consistently among the Muppets, among Muppet fans, among Muppet Show guest stars. It's definitely supposed to be Rolf.
Okay.
It's
Yes.
definitely supposed to be a wink to the Muppets.
I probably was going off of subtitles when I was watching and taking notes, and so that's probably the reason. He lists a lot of dog names that he's like, all of these dogs cannot be in the club, and it's like, Doc, chill, my man, my dude.
I will say there is a bit of good news, because later in 1992, in episode 10 of the Jim Henson Hour, The Secrets of the Muppets, we will see that there is a club led by Rolf, and Sprocket is in it. It's called the OMD, the Organization of Muppet Dogs, and it's just a delightful scene.
And in 1989, Rolf let Sprocket be in his movie Dog City.
Oh, that's right! I forgot about that.
That's what I thought we were referencing at first for some reason, was Dog City.
So yeah, Sprocket and Rolf will get to hang out.
Yay.
And then Muppet Family Christmas in, what is that, 88?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we got to do a bonus episode about that.
87, 88, I'm not... Shane?
Shane, where are you?
Rule number 6. Shane?
So yeah, then it's the scene with Red losing her last members and Gobo doing the weird chin thing.
And then, are we at the point where she helps Cotterpit off the rock yet?
That's I think where we're at is
Rad.
Cotterpin is yelling for help, right?
Yep.
So, I have a question. There's a scene with Red walking around carrying Cotterpin, and they carry on a conversation where Cotterpin's head turns and mouth moves in response to Red.
Mechanics.
How?
Wait, Adam, we've talked about how the doozers work, right?
Okay. The bit that I'm specifically confused about is there is specific is there an RC control that is activating this each time?
Yeah, the doozers are completely remote controlled.
Oh, okay, like every time.
Except in close-ups.
Right, yeah.
Oh, I thought just the ones that we couldn't. Okay.
In close-ups, they will sometimes use like rod puppets like Rizzo.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the vast majority of the time, they've got like a mechanism that looks like a mitten that the puppeteers stick their hand in and that operates the little doozer head. And then they've got a little remote control for all the other movements, and
which is almost
that's so.
Is
cool.
it the exact same thing that they use for the Gorgs? Because that is that is how everyone like operated the Gorgs' facial features off screen.
And again, that thing is called a Waldo, and it's the same thing that they used for Waldo.
Oh, I forgot that it's called a Waldo.
Yep.
Is that why I couldn't find it?
That's better than what the character of Waldo in the Muppets is. In my opinion.
Excuse me, Julia.
Oh no, we got the Waldo C graphic defender here.
Oh no.
Oh no. I was just gonna do a Waldo line, but you know what? It's fine. It would
probably bounce off of me. I've buried the character of Waldo.
I know how it is. Listen. Like Waldo, I can see the ratings at all times, and I know our ratings are dropping the longer I talk about Waldo, so we're going to move on. But if you've seen Muppet Vision in Disney World, you know Waldo. That's what I'm talking about. It's the same mechanic that controls Waldo that controls the Doozers and the Gorgs. It's called a Waldo. We can see the ratings. You think I'm talking to everyone, but I'm only talking to you. Beth, back to you.
Well, real quick, hold on. Julia, you said you buried the character of Waldo?
Deep in my psyche.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because I buried the real Waldo in the hills behind a Target.
Thank you.
He'll never be found.
I finally found
I
him.
was going to say, and you finally found a Target up in Canada.
Exactly.
Because there aren't that many of them.
Yeah, my aim was very good.
Oh my god.
Da. Anyways, Beth, you were saying.
So, side note, there is a documentary down at Fraggle Rock that talks about all of like how they made the show, and obviously it's going to have massive spoilers, or at least minor spoilers, but I'm pretty sure I can find a clip of just this is how the Doozers work, and send that to you, because it's delightful.
It is also the Doozers and the Gorgs, they show how it works in Secret of the Muppets in 1992.
Bingo.
Jim explains this to Jojo the dog.
Yep. Another reason to watch the Jim Henson Hour. So yeah, Red recruits Cotterpin into her helping club, and we get our second song, which another rule number one.
Yep, there we go. There's the other one. You caught it. Now, rule number one is that
don't pick up the phone. You know he's only calling because he's drunk and alone. Wait, wrong song. Thank you.
Oh.
So the third rule number one of Red's Club, fourth rule number one we've mentioned today, is fifth if we count mine, but I mean fourth in the episode, is that when you move around, you have to use 1 foot, not two. Whether it's jumping off of a rock or running or walking, you have to do so with 1 foot, which Cotterpin says she absolutely can't do. So Red is like, you know what, fine, do what you want. I do also want to...
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Very important piece of nuance. Red doesn't say, no, do what you want. Red says, oh, well, if you're short, you get to use both.
Right.
This isn't I'm relinquishing control. This is I'm going to tighten the control and, like, make sure that the nuance that includes you is a thing I'm choosing and making the decision on.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a key difference. It is also worth noting that Red does not jump anywhere on 1 foot for the duration of the episode. So Red is also not following her own rules because, again... And this is one thing that's really interesting about this episode is I feel like why does Red want to be a leader? And Red only wants to be a leader so she can say she's the leader and she can set rules and control things. She doesn't have any, these rules don't exist for a reason, and Red knows it, which is why she doesn't follow her own rules.
To quote Jim Butcher, power must have purpose.
Yeah, for a second, I thought it was like, oh, that's sweet. She's making, reasonable accommodations for Cotterpin because she has different needs than Red does. But then I was like, oh, yeah, no, it's still about power for her.
Mm-hmm.
Which is clear because if she actually, we'll get into what she does to Cotterpin, but if she was actually cared about Cotterpin's needs, this episode would play out very differently.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's the thing is that she finds out that Gobo's Club is helping a bunch of people, and she's like, well, we need to help more people, or just help one person a bunch of times. And so she starts just, putting Cotterpin up on a high rock that she can't get out of.
We haven't finished all the rules yet. Adam,
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. There's
Adam,
more rules.
Adam.
I'm so sorry, leader. I'm so sorry, glorious leader. Please don't kick me off the podcast.
You're on thin ice. Rule 2 is you have to walk with a wiggle and tie your hair in bows, which is convenient because Red's hair is already in bows.
And she wiggles and giggles.
Yeah, Cotterpin can't do this because her hair is straight and stringy. And Red is like, okay, it's fine if your hair is straight, again, like you guys were saying. And then rule number 3 is you don't talk to fools with different rules. And Cotterpin is like, there's no way I can do that because if I don't, quote, they'll tramp me flat.
Mm-hmm.
Which, oh, I guess I understand. As soon as I said that, I'm like, if she doesn't like yell to let her presence known to other Fraggles, they'll step on her. I thought she was saying that like the other doozers would beat her up if she didn't like talk, but
I thought it meant they were gonna ignore her to the point of like trampling over her in a crowd.
yeah, that's what I think it's supposed to be. As soon as I said it, I was about to say how weird that sounded, but then as soon as I said it, I'm like, okay. But Red says that it's okay if you're short and fat, and Cotterpin gets so offended by that, which again, I like that Cotterpin calls Red out on it, which Red doesn't care about, but I like that Cotterpin is like, what?
Excuse you, ma'am.
Anyway, Adam, so then Red figures out that she can just save one person many times. So Adam, what does she do once she's explained these 3 rules in song?
She continues to place Cotterpin in situations of peril so that she can then show up and rescue her. Which, can you, like, this is like demigod levels of dickery. Like, can you imagine a giant putting you on top of a skyscraper just so it can take you off the skyscraper to feel better about itself?
Actually, I
mean,
can't
I can
imagine that.
imagine it.
It sounds awful.
I mean, yes, I'm aware that's what the rich do with, like, poverty and yada, yada,
Oh,
yada.
no, I just meant that I'm really good at imagining.
Oh, of course you are, Grand High Podcast Leader.
It also
You
gave
know,
me...
you know what I'm imagining right now?
What?
A tuna sandwich. Anyway, so...
Julia, you were saying.
You were saying something of substance?
Does it have pickles on it?
I was gonna say that it also like really gives me the vibes, if I was to connect it for myself, of when I am like in the process of getting something done or I have just finished a task and sometimes put it on my actual to-do list only to then cross it off to make myself feel better. That is a real thing that I know that many people do, and I definitely do. It's just like works. Self-gratification of like, oh, I did this thing and I'm congratulating myself for doing it, even though it's such a nothing thing, you know. She's and in this case, obviously, she is taking someone else's autonomy like into her control, and you know, it's a lot more messed up than me being like, I feel good because I cleaned my car, so I'm just gonna write it down and check it off, you know, because that's how I have to adult in order to feel some dopamine.
Oh, yeah. It's fascinating to me because it really is a demonstration about how power has the tendency to amplify our unprocessed traumas, insecurities, and needs.
Say more about that, Adam.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's one of the things that you see, like, I mean, look at people who gain fame because they're constantly chasing that kind of attention, and then when they have the power that level of like fame and following provides, they don't do anything with it to actually, you know, improve the world around them or create anything. They just use it to continue to try to gain more of that attention because that's the void they're trying to fill.
So I think what you're saying, Adam, is that Red is kind of like the Mr. Beast of Fraggle Rock.
In this particular moment, yes.
Wow.
And Cotterpin is all of the people who starved on the set of Mr. Beast's reality show. Look it up. The Times did a feature on it.
Oh yeah, I've been my kids really liked him, and as soon as I found out what this dude was about, I was like, no, there's some skeletons in this closet. You don't get to be that rich actually giving away all that kind of nope. And my kids were like, no, he's really good. And I was like, no ethical billionaires, 10-year-old. Trust me, you will know one day.
So the point is, though, Red is not helping for the right reasons.
Red's also not helping.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I did love, love in a bad way, but the line where Red goes, oh, Cotterpin, you're really great at needing help, which is such a funny line because it's like, yeah, gee, I wonder why.
Red, you're really great at making Cotterpin need help.
Yeah.
I do like the Cotterpin, I mean, to come back to the word stupid, Cotterpin does just tell Red that the whole thing is stupid.
Yeah.
And she's not wrong. Like,
No, she's 100% right. And again, like, that's what I mean earlier with like Cotterpin being like such a breath of fresh air and such a like mean character. And I say mean like in a good way, but like she's not trying to be like, well, Red, I kind of feel like things could be a little different, or like she's like, Red, this is dumb. Can't we just listen to Rumble hums? Which I did appreciate the callback there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like,
it was a good callback.
yeah. And then at this point, Red wants to spy on the other club, I believe. And in order to do so, she makes Cotterpin go Mission Impossible style with a string or something, like just drops her down to listen to what they are saying.
Which is a brilliant setup to what's going to happen later.
Yes. And Moki, meanwhile, is trying to help Wembley get this cup that's stuck on his nose, trying to get it off.
The entire sequence, it's as we have talked about, like, it's not necessary for this moment, but it's just like this interaction between the two of them while this conversation is happening, and it just, adds more flavor to the world, which is great.
Yeah. No seams in the world building.
and it's so great though, because it does seem like Moki is doing all of the helping and Boober and Wembley are doing all of the being helped. I think she says she helped Boober 47 times. Red helped Cotterpin more times than that, but I guarantee Moki wasn't, throwing Boober into like a closet and then, unlocking the door or whatever.
Boober probably really needed the help. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah, outside of like laundry and cooking stuff, Boober is Boober, and he probably, I don't know, yeah, much more than just yeah.
He says that early in the episode. He's like, this is a great club for people who always need help.
Which he was talking about himself, apparently.
Absolutely.
And when Moki's like, oh, I've helped you so many times today, and he says, I'm so pleased to know I'm making such an important contribution.
It's great.
Yeah. And then but they make some comment about how, like, man, Red would even help a Gorg if she thought she needed to. And Red pulls Cotterpin back up, and there's a mistranslation here, and Cotterpin's basically like, yeah, no, they're helping Gorgs. And Red's like, well, now I gotta help a Gorg.
I liked how Cotterpin acknowledges that she doesn't know what a Gorg is, which is factual at this point. I believe the only one who has seen a Gorg would have been her dad. So I guess maybe it's interesting that Flange didn't go home and was like, y'all, I saw a talking mountain today.
Right.
Well, he may have said a talking mountain, but may have not said a Gorg.
True. Maybe he left out some important context.
We also know that he was, like, very reluctant to talk to his daughter about difficult concepts in the last episode, so he might have just
very true.
come home and only told his wife and be like, don't tell our impressionable young child.
Okay, hold on. Y'all, I just realized, okay, wow, hold on. So Gorg, right? Gorg is just like a mountain that's walked, right? Like an Audi if the earth had a belly button.
Okay.
But if you add an E, then it's a gorge, which is like a big canyon, which is like an innie if the earth had a belly button.
Okay.
How did we get to belly buttons?
So rule number 7, are we on? 7? Is that we need to stop talking about this.
Okay.
But
is this when we get to the Doc and Sprocket bit again?
Well, so first we, like, hearing out of context, Red's like, okay, well, I guess I have to help a Gorg. And this is where Cotterpin puts her foot down and is like,
yes.
I am quitting. I am tired of listening to you. I am not doing this anymore. And her exact line also is, it is not our club, Red. It is your club. It always has been, and now it always will be because I quit. Just like, yeah.
Heck
Again,
yes.
it's so
I get
good.
it.
That's what Red needs someone to tell her.
Yeah.
That's why Cotterpin is the best.
And then we go to Doc and Sprocket.
We get this whole list of people that Doc is saying can't be in the club, and I just want to talk for a second about one of the themes of this episode.
Dogs.
About
Love them.
dogs, yeah. So there's a lot of different dogs.
No. I mean dogs that can't be in the club.
Oh.
Are you saying dogs aren't people?
Dogs are very special, but I usually reserve the word people for... Okay, this is obviously very human-centric of me. Continue, Adam. I'm sorry.
there's a whole bunch of exclusion happening, and it is interesting because a lot of times, and I've seen this in classrooms, one of the reasons that kids make clubs is so that they can exclude people, and it's usually people who feel excluded, or people who have power, like social power within the classroom dynamic, and are like really scared and want to keep it. But there's that same feeling of like being excluded, and so making a club so that you can exclude people so you can feel powerful too. And it's just this pattern of, oh, well, here's this power dynamic where one person has the power to exclude another person and the other person feels, disempowered. And so then they're going to go seek out that exact same dynamic, but put themselves on the powerful side of it.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that Doc says it's going to be a pretty exclusive club, you know that? And that got me thinking about how, taken in another context, the word exclusive is supposed to be this positive thing, like members only access, like, early sales and
keeping the riffraff out.
Exactly. It literally is about excluding people, and we're supposed to feel great about it when we get an exclusive thing that nobody else gets.
But Magenta's allowed to come.
Magenta the dog from Blue's Clues?
No, I said keeping riffraff out, but Magenta's allowed to come. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I like my Blue's Clues reference better, but
yeah,
I like your Blue's Clues reference better
both.
too, actually.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to me because exclusion as a form of empowerment leads to that same kind of like disempowering cycle perpetuating. But inclusion is also a form of empowerment that also has the ability to spread.
Say more
but
about
its
that.
power is being shared. Well, you make a space and you invite people into that space and you say, hey, you're welcome here. And then those people are like, wow, feeling welcome feels really good. And they turn around and they go, hey, well, you're welcome here. I want to make you feel welcome here. And that feeling of welcoming and belonging spreads. Because if you have the power to exclude someone, then you have the power to actively include someone. And one of these things builds healthy community, and one of them gives you a brief fleeting hit of dopamine before isolating you.
Yeah. I do like that there's another, what could be another in-joke that Doc suggests. He says, what about Frank, that feisty little terrier down the street? And I was like, this could be a possible reference to Frank the dog. Muppets Take Manhattan would premiere a few months later, so maybe they already had the Frank the dog puppet as an existing in-joke.
Oh.
Or maybe they're just being like, can we invite Frank Oz to be on Fraggle Rock?
Yeah.
No.
What about Frank Zappa?
I thought of Frank Oz too.
I feel like the Zappa kids would be Muppet fans.
Probably. Or Muppets.
Beth from the future here. Turns out the Zappa kids are Muppet fans. According to Muppet Wiki, Dweezil and Ahmet appeared in the 1998 Creature Shop Effects film Jack Frost. Dweezil and Moon Unit appeared in Muppet Magazine issue 2 in 1983. And get this, in 2006, Ahmet Zappa wrote a treatment for the planned Fraggle Rock movie, the one that never happened. So there you go. Thanks, Muppet Wiki. And back to the show.
Well, I think the problem is Moon Unit Zappa would be worried that, like, Gobo was going to put her in a bucket.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we do see Doc as being very exclusionary here as well. And Sprocket is getting upset. And Doc absolutely doesn't notice because Doc is absolutely like, Doc's in a fugue state here of like I'm making a list of rules and crossing dogs off a list, and I'm not paying attention to Sprocket because once again Doc is doing something, and if he's doing something, he's not paying attention to Sprocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's worth noting that, with Red's club, at least it is her own club, so it makes sense, that she would get a little power trippy. But this is supposed to be Sprocket's club. The Doc is just taken over.
Mm-hmm. People be wanting to feel empowered.
Which is kind of what Gobo and the other Fraggles did to Red's club.
A little bit, yeah.
Although it's a little different because they didn't even realize they were doing it, and also they wanted a club to actually do good things. So it's a different thing, but it's interesting. Again, this idea of like who has power and who gets power and who wants power and for what reason, to what end, is very important here. And again, like, Gobo's club is better.
Yeah.
So Red goes alone to help a Gorg.
Yeah. And we get to see that Ma Gorg has dropped her handkerchief down the well and it's been caught. And she's trying to get Pa Gorg to get it. And he gets like a string to try to catch it on, which a string to him is like this big old rope. And I just want to point out, there's two things I want to touch on. One, she says, "If you cannot retrieve it, I will be sad for eternity." And he says, "Oh no, not again."
Yeah.
Which very much does feel a little bit like a boomer version of, "Oh, my wife has feelings." But it's also just a very silly thing of like, oh, this has happened before and she's been sad for eternity before.
Yes. Which, mood.
Yeah.
Exactly. I didn't quite take it as a boomer joke. I took it more as just like, Ma Gorg is overdramatic kind of joke.
Very fair.
Which the Gorgs are. I did like that when he's trying to fish this handkerchief out, he yells at the handkerchief, like, "The king of the universe commands you to get on the rope."
Yes.
And it's like, you have no skills, Pa Gorg. You just think being in charge.
I love that his swear when it doesn't is Drat and Deuteronomy.
Same.
Yep.
Which, one, that's a great swear. And two, that implies that the Gorgs know the Bible?
Well, hang on.
Or hit singer-songwriter dad rock folk band The Mountain Goats.
I did look up the etymology of the word Deuteronomy.
Yes.
Let's see. Fifth book of the Pentateuch, late 14th century. From late Latin, Deuteronomium phenomenon. From ecclesiastical from ecclesiastical Greek Deuteromenon, literally second law, from deuteros, second, and nomos, law. So Latin and Greek, like, first, and apparently it goes on. It says a mistranslation of Hebrew. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that. A copy of this law. The book is a repetition with comments of the Decalogue and most of the laws of Exodus. This title was translated literally into Old English as something else, literally after law. So
As Pink Pony Club.
Well, no. After Deuteronomenon is, of course, the one after that is Red Wine Supernova. Pink Pony Club
You're
is
so
later.
right.
Is later on.
Thank you.
It's later
I'm
on.
so sorry.
I think you mean Red's Helping Club Supernova.
Yes, Red's Helping Club. So Supernova.
Or hear me out, Red Whining Supernova.
There we go.
Oh, perfect.
Anyway, Adam, he's going to say Drat and Deuteronomy as his swear pretty much from here on. He says it in, like, every time he appears
Yes,
moving
several
forward.
episodes.
Oh, wow. I did not remember that. That's great. I love that. Maybe the best thing about Pa Gorg.
Mhm. That and his blunderbuss. He gets his blunderbuss again.
So I am just going to headcanon this, that the only record that the Gorgs have is The Life of the World to Come by the Mountain Goats.
Great. Love that.
That's how I'm explaining this in my headcanon. So Red talks to Pa Gorg just like a person, not to taunt him, not to try to sneak past him, just talks to him and is like, yo, like, I'm a Fraggle and I will fit.
I love that she gives him the idea and he takes it as his own.
Of course.
That's a perfect example of how that works.
Yep.
Which is very Pa Gorg in general, and Pa does that to Junior all the time as well. But it also, again, like Adam was alluding to earlier, it's a great inversion of Red's whole deal, where we're seeing, again, this obsession with power mean that you kind of stop caring about other people, which is what Pa is literally doing. And, Pa uses Red, dangles her from the line, just like Red did with Cotterpin to get the information. And when Red does help Pa and gets the handkerchief, is this when Red's friends show up, or does Pa threaten Red first?
Well, he says, stay here, I'll be back to deal with you in a minute, and leaves, and that's when her friend shows up. So we don't know what he's leaving to do just yet.
But then the friends show up.
Yeah. And they say, we've come to rescue you. And she's like excited and says like, you have? Like she seems genuinely happy that her friends are here to rescue her.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pa puts them in a cage. So fast.
Yeah. She does get a moment of like turnaround where she decides like, no, go away. I don't need your help. So it's a brief moment of vulnerability that she immediately retracts.
Well, and again, Red is very proud. That is absolutely in keeping with Red, and Red's not going to change her mind easily. Again, she's very proud and she's very stubborn, and that's something that she has to get better at. And she'll at least learn a lesson here.
I do love the moment when they're the other Fraggles are trapped in the cage, and Wembley and Boober yell, "Help!" And Pokey says, "Oh, Wembley, Boober, you have called. I must help you."
Yeah.
Girl, what are you gonna do?
Her best.
Aw.
Well, so hold on. There's a bit before that, actually, that I want to touch on, which is just they're wandering around being worried about Red, and Cotterpin just rolls through on her little cart thing and is like, oh, yeah, Red's out looking for a Gorg. And Gobo's like, how do you know that? And Cotterpin's like, none of your business, and then just rolls off. And if a freeze frame had happened and sunglasses had just lowered down from the top of the screen onto her eyes, I think that's the only thing that could have improved that moment. I would not have been surprised.
So, Beth, you're going to have to bleep this, bleep
Great.
part of this, but the audience will know what I'm saying, because when this happened, my spouse, Lee, looked up from what they were doing and just says, little sass and a fat referring to Cotterpin.
Oh, I wish we could make that her
That's great.
tagline.
Can someone fan art her in a t-shirt that says that?
The way the Doozers look, they do look like they have kind of like fat.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Beth, you're going to have to bleep this also.
Okay.
Okay, mine was for a reason.
Yeah, mine was for a reason, too. Second beat.
Okay, fair.
Well, I can't leave the third beat hanging.
That's fair. Thank you. So anyway, then Pa Gorg shows up, drops the cage on the other 4 Fraggles, and says, well, 1 Fraggle is one thing, but 4 Fraggles, well, that's another thing. Which, yep, that's how logic works, Pa Gorg. 1 owl is at one thing, but a computer is another thing. We could go on. You're not making the point you think you're making, sir. And then he's like, Ma Gorg, where's my blunderbuss? So it's giving, that like insecure dude who like gets a bunch of mice in a mousetrap and then goes and gets a gun. Like, dude.
Yeah, my spouse did say here something to the extent of, dude's gonna get an elephant gun to kill these 4 mice.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that makes total sense for Pa, that he's completely overreacting and treating this as a much bigger situation than it is. But anyway, Red has an idea to help. When Pa leaves to get the blunderbuss, Red puts together the gear that she has. She throws down the fishing line that's still tied to her waist, and her friends attach it to the cage that they're in. And then Red uses her special skill, diving and yelling, woohoo.
Mm-hmm.
She dives into the well because the fishing line is connected one side to her and the other side to the cage. When she jumps, the cage flies up and the Fraggles can run free. It's actually a pretty clever idea from Red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She understands physics, which is bonkers to me for some reason. Because, yeah, just props to Red for figuring it out.
And very quickly.
Putting it together.
So they all reunite and they get into a thing and they're like, yeah, we want to join your club. And then Red makes a really important declaration that the first rule of Red's helping club is that robots are not allowed to harm humans.
Dang it!
I do want to point out that is our, I think, 5th rule number 1 from Red,
Mm-hmm.
and 6th rule number 1 in the episode.
Thank you for keeping track, High Helper.
You're welcome. It's my job. It's a pleasure to help.
And then we cut back to Doc and Sprocket.
Wait. I
and
think
Doc...
we should say what the actual thing that she says is.
Oh, right. The first rule is no one in this club will be in this club.
It's like the opposite of the tautology club.
She basically just disbands it all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good because, again, if helping, and there is actually, she says earlier when they suggest a helping club in the first place, she says, guys, that's just what we do anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which she's right. That is what they do anyway. The only reason really to make it a club is just so there can be these titles and sense of exclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
And Red is seeing that, power can make you do some really terrible things to people and take advantage of those without it.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, so Red disbands the club and the Fraggles are just going to help each other, regularly.
Yeah, the 5 of them are already kind of a club, without the titles, as you said. They operate the 5 of them together so frequently, they're a club of friends, but it's less crummy without the titles.
Yeah.
What do you call a club, but that's not official? God, there's got to be a word for it. I just can't wait for it to click in my brain.
Oh.
Brain?
Click. CLIC.
Yeah, no,
QUE. Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
What's interesting about this episode, and I know we have to get to the doc sort of button, but what's interesting about this episode is watching it this time, it really reminded me, the parallel and like Red being sort of taken advantage by a Gorg helping her to learn like her lesson really reminded me of the Back to the Rock episode Red and the Big Jump.
Me too.
From season 1 of Back to the Rock.
Yeah, especially with the cotter pin thing and learning about boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel like this is spoilers for Adam to say that this episode reminded me of another episode. And I guarantee that when you guys get to Back to the Rock, Adam will not remember that I said this.
What? Ah! Becca, when did you get here?
Hi, I'm Becca Petunia from toughpigs.com.
Hi!
And I'm so glad to be back. I do want to apologize for something. But anyway, so then we get into the little Doc wrap up at the end, and Sprocket kicks Doc out of the club.
Yeah. And then Doc's like, well, okay, we can invite a bunch of people. We can invite all the dogs who are people. And Sprocket's like, all right, cool. And Doc's like, and me. And Sprocket's like, nope. Doc's like, why can't I join the club?
Yeah. And at first he guesses, was it just because I'm not a dog? And that's when Sprocket makes his like, meh gesture. And then Doc's like, oh, yeah, I guess I did kind of take over.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sprocket does let Doc back in the club. And the club now has people and humans. People here means dogs. So the club now has people and
nature is healing.
People and humans and a cat, because Doc is like, we got to invite Fluffinella.
That's when Sprocket thinks he's gone too far. He gives this horrified gasp, and then Doc continues with, and the vet, and the paper girl, and the garbage collector.
Yeah. Swing the other way, why don't ya?
Yeah, everyone can be in the club, even Fluffinella.
Aww.
Cool. Beth, do you want to tell us anything about the international versions?
There's only one little note that says, let's see here. Oh, so here's something we didn't talk about, beyond the international versions. Did anyone else, like, maybe it was because I knew this going in, because I looked at Muppet Wiki first, did anyone else notice that Red's voice or movements seemed weird at all through the whole episode?
I did.
No.
That is because, according to Muppet Wiki, Karen Prell had to have emergency surgery during the filming of this episode, so Red is actually being puppeteered by Steve Whitmire. Prell dubbed the voiceover later. So yeah, I spent the whole episode going, oh, this is weird, and she's moving like Wembley.
I did notice that the lip sync seemed off, which feels like such a strange thing to notice.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if just like the recording was off, but it didn't seem to be happening on the other Fraggles. And it's so funny because none of them are actually making noises when they open their mouths, but it does feel like the lip sync is just cleaner when the same puppeteer is voicing the Muppet as moving the Muppet.
Yeah.
It feels like they can be a little more in sync then.
Absolutely. And yes, for the international versions, there's only one note on the UK version that says the captain tries to form a birdwatchers club, but only Sprocket will join. Uncle Traveling Matt discovers a way to control a species of big yellow creatures. Just yell taxi and they'll stop.
And then the big yellow taxi took away Gobo's old man.
Oh no.
Oh, wow. Don't it always seem to go? Don't know what you got till it's gone.
And that's Red's club!
Yay!
Mhm.
Oh, Becca, thank you so much for taking over and being the leader.
Ah, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. It's so nice to have a leader to direct us.
Listen, I was thinking that ultimately the new rule number 1 is that there is no podcast helping club.
What?
And I think you guys can be the leaders now.
Aw.
That's a lot of responsibility.
Well, mostly Beth.
Okay, I was gonna say I might have to resort to a life of crime and vice to handle all the pressure.
Beth's the producer. Beth is the leader. I'm
I mean-
sorry.
You're not wrong.
There's already crime and vice happening. Why stop now?
Shh.
I mean, how are we going to make the world a little fragglier?
I'll go. Okay, I'll go for. Hi. We've had a lot of fun today, referencing a lot of rule sets, but I genuinely think that inclusion might be the most powerful social force I have found. And if you want to make the world a little fragglier, just please remember you, yes, you listening to this, not the general you, the specific person. You have the power to make someone feel welcome and feel like they belong in your space. You have that power. If you are ever feeling helpless or frustrated or tiny, know that you can affect the world. You can make somebody feel welcome.
I'll just say that if you're going to make a club for dogs, invite every single dog because all dogs are good.
And people.
And people can come too.
No, dogs are people.
Dogs are people. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to say some facts about Waldo C. Graphic from the Jim Henson Hour, but seriously, jokes aside, and Adam's thing was really, really inspiring. I think that, you know, it really does feel good to help people, and I think that helping people is a great way to make the world a little fragglier. I've been trying to get more involved in my community and different sort of like, you know, political and civil groups in my community. And it feels really good to actually help people. And that should be the reason you want to help people, is that helping people feels good and causes a net positive in the world. Not because you want fame or a title or people to respect you, but because you actually want to see the world become a better place, and you want to feel good doing it, but you want to see things actually improve. You want to see Cotterpin's life get better. You don't want to cause problems for Cotterpin and then undo them. So I think go out and find a way to be a part of a helping club is a really, really good idea. Even if the Fraggles get rid of their helping club at the end of the episode, I think being a part of a helping club is something that is a real thing that you can do. And there's plenty of places. As a volunteer with the New York branch of the ACLU, I'm going to say try to find your local branch of the ACLU. They're doing good work. And believe me, they are understaffed and could use your help.
Yeah, almost every cause that you care about are understaffed and could use your help. I was gonna say, if someone is putting you in harm's way over and over again, speak truth to power and quit. But that's making the world a little more doozery, so I'm gonna go with try not to get a cup stuck on your nose, but if you do, a good whack on the back is gonna be more effective than trying to twist off the cup itself.
All right. Do we want to plug our pluggables?
Yeah, Becca, thank you so much for being here again. Where can folks find you?
Yeah, so, well, the best place to find me is toughpigs.com. Back in June, I did this massive Pride fundraiser for LGBTQ charities.
Speaking of helping, Becca was absolutely the high helper of that whole operation, and it was awesome.
We raised like $2,500.
Yay.
Righteous.
which was good. We raised about $2,500 last year, too. So that's the kind of thing that I do on Tough Pigs, in addition to writing articles.
Moderating the forums.
I was getting there. Podcasting. The replacement to Hubbawa has not yet happened, but it is still brainstorming. But I am going to be working on the 70 Years, 70 Muppets podcast, which just came out recently. So check that out. I'll have some episodes soon there. And yeah, like Beth said, I'm also one of the head moderators, along with past guest of this podcast, Katie Lynn Miller. I'm one of the head monitors of the Tough Pigs Discord. So if you want to find me, the Tough Pigs Discord is a great place to do it. I'm Tall Girl Petunia there. I'm the leader, and rule number 1 is that you have to jump on one foot. Otherwise, I'm on social media at Tall Girl Petunia. That's where I'm on most social medias. It's confusing. I hate social media, but I'm on Discord all the time, so you can find me there. And that's it.
Yeah, our little corner of the internet, I feel like, is overall a better place than a lot of other social media.
Yeah, that's why I'm just here.
Yep. Yeah, you can find me on social media occasionally at Beth Anna Cook and writing stuff for Tough Pigs.
You can find me at Geek Girl Grown Up on social media, also occasionally writing for Tough Pigs, and at juliagaskell.com for some poetry.
You can find me in the background of your childhood photos, drinking a milkshake and looking incredibly lost. With David Tennant trying to corral me.
All right, that is it for this episode. Reminder to check out toughpigs.com, give us a good review on your podcatcher of choice, and we will see you next time.
Don't forget to dance your cares away.
Down at Fraggle Talk.
Bom.
Fraggle Talk Classic is brought to you by toughpigs.com. Fraggle Talk art by Dave Holteen Jr. The Fraggle Rock mark and logo, characters, and elements are trademarks of the Jim Henson Company. All rights reserved. The Fraggle Rock theme song, written by Philip Balsam and Dennis Lee, is used with permission. Special thanks to the Jim Henson Company and the entire Fraggle Rock family. For more from Tough Pigs, please find us at Tough Pigs on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, TeePublic, and Patreon. Fraggle Talk Classic is produced and edited by me, Beth Cook. Thank you to Joe Hennis, the Tough Pigs Muppet Fan Podcast executive producer. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time, down at Fraggle Talk. And we have another special guest today.
Oh, I just jump in then when it's okay.
Did you think we were talking about someone else?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's you, Becca. You're the special
Prairie
guest.
Dawn behind me, the Sylveon behind me. I don't know, Birdo's behind me.
Are you one of those Birdo Sylveon shippers?
No.
Okay.
But
Anyways, please introduce yourself. I'm sorry.
boy, we're off the rails already. Boy, I can tell that this
It
is
is
the
the first week of school, and for some reason, we scheduled 2 recording days back to back.
Yeah, what the heck?
So, do you want me to just take this clean and you guys can put this at the end of the episode?
You know what? Yes, let's do that.